Welcome. You are listening to the Alpha Beta Chronicles, presented by the Queer Hermit. Stories of loyalty, strength, and the bond between Alpha and Beta. Settle in and enjoy your time with Dad. Campfire packed, Robert's fire burned steady against the night. He had picked his camp like he picked everything, deliberate, safe, and controlled. A flat patch of earth with its back to a low ridge, open to the trail but protected from the wind. His horse was tethered nearby, and his small stack of wood was enough to last until dawn. The crackle of flames was the only sound until the night creatures started their chorus. Crickets, a distant coyote. The soft hiss of wind through sparse trees. Robert ate slowly, a strip of dried venison in one hand, knife in the other. He wasn't expecting company, not tonight, but his instincts kept him aware. A true alpha didn't just watch the horizon, he listened. He felt the space around him, and he felt he wasn't alone. It was near midnight when he heard the faintest crunch of dirt behind him. A hesitant step, then another. Whoever it was, they were trying to be quiet, but Robert had grown up in silence. He'd worked the docks, hunted the woods, and spent enough nights on the trail to know when someone was breathing his air. "Fire's warm," he said without looking up. His voice rumbled low and calm, carrying just enough to reach the trees. "If you're cold, step in. I don't bite unless I have to." A long pause, then movement. Donnie emerged from the shadows like a stray dog, thin and jumpy. He looked smaller in the firelight, eyes wary but hungry in a way that had nothing to do with food. He had chosen to come. Robert didn't smile, didn't move. He simply pointed to a spot across the fire. "Sit!" Donnie hesitated, then obeyed. His knees folded up under him, arms hugging them for warmth. He glanced at the meat Robert was carving, but didn't ask. He didn't have to. Robert tossed a piece across the fire, and Donnie caught it like he hadn't eaten all day. For a while, there were no words. That was fine with Robert. Words were for men who didn't know what to do with silence. Finally, Donnie cleared his throat. "Why'd you offer? Back there?" Robert's eyes lifted, steady and unreadable. "Because you needed it." The boy flinched, like the truth had landed heavier than a punch. "I don't?" Robert cut him off with a small shake of his head. "Don't waste your breath denying what's plain. You're running on fumes. You're tired. Cold, you can play at being a lone wolf, but wolves don't last long alone out here." Donnie didn't answer. He picked at the meat in his hands, gaze dropping to the fire. The flames danced in his eyes, making him look younger than he was. Robert leaned forward, resting his forearms on his knees. His voice dropped into that steady, controlled tone that carried more weight than a shout ever could. "I don't chase, boy. I offered once. You said no. Now you're here. That means something. If you want a place by my fire, you follow my rules. You don't lie. You don't steal. You don't bring trouble to my camp. You pull your weight when asked. And if you stay..." He let the words hang like smoke between them. "You listen to me." Donnie's throat bobbed. He didn't answer right away, but his eyes flicked up for the briefest second, meeting Robert's across the fire. That was enough. The first bond was formed not with hands or vows, but with trust. Robert didn't move closer. He didn't coddle. He just let the fire and the silence work, knowing that in the quiet, the boy would feel something he'd been chasing his whole life: safety. By the time Donnie's head nodded and his eyelids drooped, Robert tossed him a blanket from his saddlebag. "Sleep," he said simply. Donnie curled on the dirt, wrapped in the rough wool. The firelight flickered against his face, softening the hard edges of hunger and fear. Robert watched the darkness beyond the fire a moment longer. The night was quiet, balanced. The first thread of the Alpha-Beta bond had been tied. Thank you for spending time with Dad in the Alpha-Beta Chronicles. If you enjoyed this audio, please like, share, and comment. Come back next week for the next chapter.